Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got 6 packs of Modern Masters here. I'm going to be opening these quick pack opening, and then if you want to stick around, I'm going to assemble them into a sealed deck based on the contents, kind of pretend that we're in a sealed draft format. So right into pack 1 here. The feedback generally so far has been pretty good, positive on these Modern Masters. All the large staple cards have not been showing up too often, which means that the value on the original cards shouldn't be dropping too much. But I'm just going to skip through the commons here and read off the uncommons. And rare. Take Possession, Reach of Branches, Executioner's Capsule, and a rare is Extirpate. Good card from what I've understand so far. It's 1 drop, instant, split second, and it chooses target in a graveyard other than a basic land card. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. And our foil is Amuro Scout and a Kithkin Soldier token here. Pack 2. Eternal Witness, Incremental Growth, another Executioner's Capsule, 2 in a row. Oh wow, Kokoshu the Evening Star, one of the better mythics here. Well, not one of the better mythics, but one of the better dragons of the 5 that are included in this set. It's a 5/5 for 6 with flying, and then whenever it dies is a 10 life swing with your opponent losing 5 life and you gaining 5 life. So generally speaking, it looks like we're going to go with black for our sealed deck here, but who knows. And our foil is Rift Sweeper, and a token, not a token, but a advert card there. Okay. Third pack. Imperiosaurus, supposedly a good card here. Lava Spike, great common. Rift Bolt, great artwork. Street Wraith, another good card. And a good black card here. So our first uncommon is Vivid Growth, Eternal Witness, Thundercloud Shaman. Engineered Explosives is our rare. It's a X casting cost with Sunburst, which means that if you cast it with every color, Wooburg, then you get a charge counter for each different color, or any number of colors that you use. And tap 2, sacrifice Engineered Explosives, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Engineered Explosives. So to be careful with how many you use, or how many different colors you use. And our foil, Hanakami, zombie token. Alright, 3 packs down, 3 to go. Sandsower is our first uncommon. Horobi's Whisper, second. Gritting Ingus, third uncommon. And Grand Arbiter Augustin the 4th. Another good card from what I've understood. This is an Azorius card, 2 generic, 1 white, 1 blue. It's a 2/3 legendary creature. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. There's probably a tongue-tied version of that they could have used, but I think they're just using the original wording here. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast. Veteran Armorer. So nothing crazy here on the foil side, Goblin Rogue here. But you know, this is a it's kind of hit or miss. People have come up with some really cool stuff when they're opening entire boxes. But with 6 packs here, I'm not expecting to get a whole lot. More than the couple cool cards I've gotten already. But I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts on Modern Masters. It's a kind of cool idea. There was a few cards that I thought maybe should have made it in there. There was the Blue Ninja from Betrayers that I thought was kind of a staple in modern decks these days that didn't make it in. Something of the Hours, I think it was called. But there's a couple other cards too, but then I went back and researched them, and a card like Phyrexian Obliterator was after the cutoff for the Modern Masters in the new Phyrexia block. It was after the Shades of Alara. Flicker Wisp, Masked Admirers, Kosan Grip, third uncommon. Ooh, Blood Moon, $4 card or so. 3-drop, non-basic lands or mountains. And Videlkin's Shackles, foil, rare. It's a 3-drop artifact. You may choose not to untap this card during your untap step. 2 generic, and tap it. Gain control of target creature with power less than or equal to the number of islands you control for as long as Videlkin's Shackles remains tapped. That's a cool card, and it's a rare, so I'm happy to see that. Alright, down to our last pack here. Again, like I said, not expecting a whole lot, but also gotten some pretty cool pulls so far, so we'll just take a look here and see what we get. I'm hoping to be able to pick up a box of Modern Masters. We'll see how many are available in the coming weeks as the second shipment starts coming out. And already today I've seen some vendors that are out there saying, "Oh, we only have so many left." Well, I'm like, well, if they're not bought already, you're going to have to drop your prices. And in any other industry where you see retailers jacking up the price, they have a hard time with the manufacturer from then on out. But Wizards doesn't seem to care too much that they're doing that. Be interested to see how things pan out in the long run here. Murderous Redcap is our first uncommon. Etched Oracle. Necromoeba is our third uncommon. And our last, oh wow, Glenalandra Archmage. It's a 2/2 4-drop flying, and then 1 blue, sacrifice Glenalandra Archmage, counter target non-creature spell. This is a pretty good card from what I hear. It's got persist. When this creature dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a -1/-1 counter on it. So you can essentially reuse it twice. And our foil is Erratic Mutation, a common, another Kithkin Soldier token. So with that, I'm going to take a quick break here, line out our cards by color, and come back and see if we can build a deck around what we find. Alright, welcome back again. I've got our cards sorted out by color here, and in ascending order of mana cost, converted. So just going to take a look right through white and see what we have available. This is an artifact creature. It gets +1/+1 as long as you control another artifact. So it's a 1/1 with some added bonus. It's really a 2/2 for 1. So not a bad card there. 2 of those, and especially if you have those 2 out in turn 2, you got swinging for 4 damage. Turn 3 at least. So maybe something to consider there. Otherworldly Journey is an exile target creature at the beginning of the next end step. Return that card with the battlefield under its control with a +1/+1 counter on it. So this is kind of like a long play solution for pumping up your creatures. Don't know if I'd keep that in there. Test of Faith is a 2-cost instant. Prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. So we've got the beginnings of a white weenie deck here going on. Veteran Armorer. Other creatures you control get +0/+1. And this is a 2/2 for 2. So just looking at these low-cost whites, there could be something here. In fact, when I looked through, I was dividing these cards out, I saw a possibility of a good black-blue deck and then a decent one for red-green, white-green. So we'll see how this goes here. This is a Kithkin Rebel Scout creature. It's a 2/1 for 2. Where you tap 4 and search your library for Rebel permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less and put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Probably not going to have many other Rebel creatures in here, so that's probably out. Flicker Wisp is a 3/1 flying for 3. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of next end step. Not sure about that one. I know a lot of archetypes can probably use it. I'm not sure if I have much for it here. Avian Changeling. Well, this card is every creature type at all times, so I wonder, you can definitely use your Emerald Scout here to pull this in. It's a 2/2 flying for 3. But again, you know, you're not getting a whole lot of benefit out of that. Blinding Beam is a good card. It's choose 1, tap 2 target creatures, or creatures don't untap during next target's player's next untap step, and then you can entwine it for 1. So it's a fairly large cost to entwine it and use both of those, but not bad features. Emerald Seekers, so we do have another rebel in here. It can't be blocked except for by artifact creatures and or white creatures. Hellcomer Giant. 3/3. So we've got some sideboard looking cards here. You know, if I'm designing a standard deck or a modern deck, it might come into play, but for a sealed event, I don't know if I'm even thinking white at this point. No bombs here anyway. 2/4 for 4. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on Pallid Microderm. Remove 3 spore counters from this dude and put a 1/1 green Sapperling creature token into the battlefield. Sacrifice one of them. At each creature you control that's a fungus or Sapperling gets +1/+1 until end of turn. A lot of conditions there. Sand Sower, tap 3 untapped creatures you control to tap target creature. Gleam of Resistance. Creatures you control get +1/+2 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Great to use if your opponent sneaks up on you or tries to swing away. You can block stuff if you've already attacked. And our Ivory Giant, and when he enters the battlefield, all 9 white creatures you control are tapped, and you got to suspend 5 on here. And suspend is prevalent in the Modern Masters. You see it on a lot of cards. I didn't see a whole lot in my pulls here, but rather than pay the card from your hand, you may pay 1 white and exile it with 5 time counters on it, and then it comes into play 5 turns later. So you get this in your hand in the first turn. You're going to get it out earlier than you could if you're going to cast it otherwise. So a couple of cards in there, but I don't know if there's enough to base an entire 27 card deck around with your 13 lands. Reach the Mess is a draw card. Necromoeba is a flying 1/1 for 2. When it's put in your graveyard from play, you may put it onto the battlefield. So that's not a bad card. Both of these, I think, are something that I would want to play in a deck. Spell Stutter Sprite is a 1/1 with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, counter target spell with a converted cost of X or less, where X is the number of fairies you control. I don't think we're going to have a lot of fairies in here, but for the low casting cost for a 1/1 flyer with flash, I mean, just that alone is enough to put it in the deck. Artifact here, 1/2 artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. The thing about the 1 less to cast thing on our Grand Arbiter that I put over the side here, so if we're playing blue-white, I would include this, but I don't think blue-white's going to be in the cards here just for now. So something here, I mean, we've got essentially 4 playable cards out of blue. Echoing Truth is a 2-drop instant that returns target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent to their owner's hands. Great if you want to save it up and wait until you save, you know, I don't know if someone's got a bunch of duplicates out or other lands, I guess, well, I think it was non-basic, but it's any non-land permanent, so maybe not on that one. Erratic Mutation. Choose target creature, reveal the cards from your top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. That creature gets +X/X, -X until end of turn, where X is that card's converted mana cost. Put all cards revealed that way on the bottom of your library in any order. I've heard good things about that card. It's probably not going to stand up here. Pestermite, this one's in, flying with flash. So I'm thinking about a quick blue creature type deck here. And you can tap or untap target permanent. If I had a red blue deck and a Kiki Jiki, that's a infinite combination there. So, but I think he's got definite use here. It is a little expensive at 3, but you do get a decent creature and ability to tap your other your opponent's card. Fairy Mechanist. So we do have another fairy in here. It's a 2/2/4 with flying. You can look at the top 3 cards of your library when it comes into play, and then you may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. I'm not about doing all the moving cards around in such a small sealed format. Probably would leave that one out. So far, I may not even put the artifact in here. This one. Because I'm not planning on having a heck of a lot of artifacts. We'll see, though. Then Alondra Archmage is a 2/2/4. I think that's in by default. Traumatic Visions, counter-target spell with land cycling. I saw another black card with the land cycler ability, and I think we might want to go that direction. Either Snipe. I have 3 of these, and I'm thinking of playing them. It's 6 cost, but with that Evoke 3, where you can add, you can cast it just to return non-land permanent to its owner's hand, kind of makes sense to me. So I think that, all 3 of those are going to be in, and then Take Possession, which is a split second. As long as the spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So it's a 7-drop, but you control a your opponent's permanent, and they can't be countered, essentially. So a little bit of high-cost things here. I hate to, throw 7-drop and 3 6-drops in, but these are really just 3 drops, because that's what they're going to be used for. So I'm going to call out the cards that I'm not going to use here. Fairy Mechanist. Pestermite's in, Erratic Mutation's out. Ethereum Sculptor is out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards already that are going to make for a pretty decent blue component to this sealed deck. Right into black here. Executioner's Capsule. It's a 1-cost black artifact that is 1 generic and 1 black. Tap it. And then you can destroy a target non-black creature. More of a sideboard type card. I don't think we're going to see play here with it. I got 2 of those, but maybe. Again, everything that's not in your deck is in your sideboard. So if you've got an opponent that you know is playing black, you would definitely not put that into your deck. But otherwise, maybe you do keep it. Face Vaulter. 1-drop, 1/1, sacrifice a goblin. He gets +2/+2 until end of turn. That's out. I'm going to reconsider the Executioner's Capsule. Extirpate in. Face Vaulter, another one of those. So, if I had 10 goblins at a goblin deck, I'd be playing it, but not in this case. Raven's Crime is another 1-drop black. Target player discards a card. Retrace. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying other costs. Not entirely sure that's going to be in play here. Siphon Life. I mean, having your opponent discard a card is okay, but they get to choose it. It's not at random. You don't get to choose it, so they could be just tossing out something that's not useful to them. Siphon Life is a target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I like this, and I think compared with a couple other cards in here, it's going to make a lot of sense for black. So those 2 guys are in. Hirobi's Whisper is an arcane instant for 3. If you control a swamp, destroy target non-black creature. Splice into arcane. I think I'm going to leave this in. I'd love to have something like Glacial Ray that would take advantage of the arcane. But I don't think it's going to have. Well, actually, we do have a few other arcanes here in blue, so I think it will be useful. Let's put it in. Drag Down is an instant for 3 that has domain. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each basic land type among lands you control. We're only going to have 2, I'm guessing here, so not playable here. Deep Craven Imp is a 3-drop 2/2 flying haste and echo. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this came into your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its echo cost. So if you're going to bring it into play at any other point, then out of your hand, you have to pay a discard cost. But I don't think we're going to be planning on bringing him into play like that. And at the same time, it's a flying haste creature for 2/2 for 3. All right, leave him in. Stinkweed Imp is a 1/2 flyer. It deals common damage to a creature and destroy that creature. Dredge 5. If you would draw a card instead, you may put exactly 5 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Otherwise, draw a card. I don't know if we're going to play that. I do like the ability. We'll leave it in for now. A cycling card is probably good to have here, especially if we're not getting what we want. You can't start using the cycling until your 4th turn, so I'm not entirely sure if I do want to play. I'm going to leave it out for now, basically in by default. And then target player loses 4 life and you gain life with the land cycling. So this kind of goes on the theme of our siphon life. Here it's a much higher cost, but we can use it for land cycling to kind of fix for some of the double costs that we have here, like something that requires 2 blue and 1 generic, or same way with black. So we'll leave that in for now. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So looking to probably pick up 7 or 8 more cards here. We haven't gone through our artifacts yet, so we can mix in a 3rd color, potentially. Maybe white with all those weenies in there. And then we could bring in our Grand Arbiter at that point, which will be kind of cool. We'll see. Brute Force Red. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. I like that, but it's fleeting. Lava Spike. Good on its own. Crush Underfoot is an instant. 2 is a giant creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature for 2. And remembering we have, I think, a pretty substantial giant in here. We had that white giant, didn't we? I'll take a look at that really quick. Yeah, it's only 3/4 though. Mogwar Marshal, Echo 1, and 1 generic, 1 red. When Mogwar Marshal enters the battlefield or dies, put a 1/1 red goblin creature token into the battlefield. I don't think we're going to play goblin. Fury Charm, choose 1, destroy target artifact, or target creature gets +1/+1, and gains trample until end of turn, or remove 2 time counters from target permanent with or suspend card. I'm guessing in sealed, you're not going to see a whole lot of suspend, but there's going to be some out there. That's a maybe. Grape Shot, sorcery, does 1 damage to target creature or player, and it has Storm. When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. So you're paying 2 for 1 damage, but you play it in a turn where there's 6 spells played. It's a quick way to damage your opponent pretty well, especially if he's just countered a bunch of your stuff. I guess it's only the spell has to have been cast, so if it was countered, it wasn't cast. So maybe not. Gritting Ignis, 2/2 for 3. Return it to its owner's hand. Add 2 generic, 1 red to your mana pool. Activates the ability only at a time. You could cast a sorcery. So that's kind of cool. You get 2 generic mana for nothing, and just bringing them back, and then you can cast them again next turn. Rift Bolt is a 3-drop, 3 damage to target creature or player, and you can bring it out in the first turn. So some direct damage in here, not out of the realm here. I just want to take a look at the green and the artifacts and see if we have enough to go around. Non-basic Lands or Mountains. Stink Drinker Daredevil, giant spells you cast, cost 2 less to cast. Probably not going to play it. Although there's some Goblin Giant and Giants here, you could probably slap together a white, blue, red deck here to take advantage of those cards. Put in another Goblin card here to empty the Warrens, where you put 2 1/1 red Goblin creatures into the battlefield. This has Storm. And then your Thundercloud Shaman. When he enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to the number of giants you control for each non-giant creature. I might go back and put together a Goblin Giant deck out of these two. A Thallid. It's a fungus creature, 1/1 for 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore on him, spore counter. Remove 3 spore counters. Put a 1/1 green sapperling creature token onto the battlefield. That's a quick little way to get something out of there and kind of threaten your opponent. And actually, it probably makes it a good target for removal, which isn't a bad thing. You want to kind of take the concentration off from your other stuff that you might be playing to waste their cards on destroying something like this, especially if he's counting up 1/1, 2/2. Or 1 counter, 2 counter, 3 counters, and you got another card in play. So maybe it's not a bad decoy. Hanakami, we have 2 of these. It's a 1/1 for 1, and you tap 1 and 1 green, and sacrifice it and return target arcane card from your graveyard to your hand. So right now, we've got some decent greens here. I'm thinking even going black, blue, green. And then seeing where we wind up, because we have some decent green cards here, especially if we have a few arcanes in the mix as well. Rift Sweeper. When it enters the battlefield, choose target face-up exiled card. Its owner shuffles it into his or her library. So we can get those exiled cards back. Not a bad way to do it. But even the 2/2 for 2 on its own is pretty good. Thallid Shell Dweller, 0/5 for 2. Defender. I'm not a fan of Wallace. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on him. But again, target for removal. And it's only a 2-cost defender. So maybe this is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentials already for green. Eternal Witness, when it enters the battlefield, you return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. It's a 3-cost 2/1. You're probably just going to be returning these to your hand. I'm not a big fan of them already. Moldavine Cloak, enchant creature, gets +3/+3 with Dredge 2. If you would draw a card instead, you may put exactly 2 counters from the top of your 2 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a reusable enchantment, but I don't think playable here. Croson Grip, split second, as long as the spell is on the stack. Players can't, so you can't be countered essentially. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's removal, and removal always has a good place in a sealed event, so I think I'll leave it in. Search for Tomorrow will suspend 2 for 1 green. Search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Probably not a bad idea if we're going to be playing 3 colors. I'll think about it. Masked Admirers, 3/2 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay 2 greens. If you do, return from your graveyard to your hand. So every time you cast a creature, you can get it back. It's a long, slow play. I don't think I'm going to keep it in there. 5/5 for 4. Spend only mana produced by basic lands to cast Imperious Soar. This is awesome for the cost, and I think we're going to leave it in. And the fact that it's a common, a 5/5 for 4 is just almost a given here. So we're getting up to where we need to be with our numbers, and I think a fairly clear direction on how this deck is going to work as well. Penumbra Spider is a 2/4 for 4 with reach. We may not need to have that wall in there after all. We'll see. When it dies, put a 2/4 black spider creature token with reach onto the battlefield. So we can block flyers. Maybe it's in. I don't know. We got 2 of those. Incremental growth. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature, and 3 on a third. It's a sorcery. It can be a great mid to late game combo for 5, though. I have a feeling that we're not going to get that deep. The game will probably be over. Turn 6/7. And having 2 greens out might be tough. I don't know. We'll think about it. Reach of Branches, a 5-drop. Put a 2/5 Treefolk Shaman creature into the battlefield. When this dude enters the battlefield under your control, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand whenever a forest enters the battlefield. So for 5 mana, you get a 2/5 token creature that's repeatable. If it was a 3/3, I'd do it. Or 4/4 definitely, but it's too high cost. Dirkward Beloth, suspend 5/5, suspend 4 for 6. We've got our 5/5 solution already. We got 2 of those. Sylvan Bounty, target player gains 8 life, and you have basic land cycling. Probably the worst land cycling card out here, just because there's no other benefit. You're just land cycling. That you're not really going to use the 6 cost 8 life gain. Walker of the Grove, 7/7 for 8. When it leaves the battlefield, put a 4/4 green elemental creature token onto the battlefield with an evoke 4. So you're getting a 4/4 for 5. No, I don't think so. Not this time around. So out of here, the greens like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only needed 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I said I'd probably take out the Defender. Probably take out Search for Tomorrow, which could bite me. I don't know. Put that out for now. Penumbra Spider. Yeah, it's just like having it come back, but it's not a bomb or anything. I'll leave that out for now. Both of those. So now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exactly 8. Which leaves no room, really, for any artifacts or anything. So I do want to look through them, obviously. Vivid Growth enters the battlefield tapped with 2 charge counters on it. Add green to your mana pool. Remove a charge counter from Vivid Growth. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Not going to serve us any better in this format than a basic land will. Really. You only get to use the 1 mana for 2 times. Terramorphic Expanse, again, not a whole lot here. You're fixing, but at the cost of a spot. And we are playing 3 colors, and it makes me want to think about these cards. But at the same time, we do have the basic land cycling cards that are available to us. This is only going to do us good up to 3 for the Sunburst. So you have to make sure that we have something with a 3 converted mana cost on the other end to make sure it's usable. But I don't know if we're going to have that availability or not, or the wherewithal from me to make sure that I'm paying attention enough to find those 3 costs or 2 cost or 1 cost. But you have to play this ahead of time. So I think it's out for now. Pyrite Spellbomb is a 1-drop. We're not going to be playing red, I don't think, so we'll leave it out for now. Arcbound Worker. Modular 1, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. When he dies, you may put its +1/+1 counters on target artifact creature. So I don't think we have any way of adding more +1/+1 counters to it, so I'll leave it out. The Shackles, man. You may choose not to untap. You can control a target creature with power less than equal to the number of islands you control. Now, as amazing as this card is, we're not going to have a heck of a lot of islands out there. 3, 4 at the most. So I don't know. I want to play them, but I don't know. And this was one of the cards that was featured on the booster pack artwork. Etched Oracle, a 4-cost 0/0 with Sunburst. I don't think I'm replaying Sunburst here. Skyreach Manta, a 5-cost with Sunburst and Flying. Arcbound Wanderer, 6. Sunburst. Your Enforcer, affinity for artifacts. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. It's a 4/4 for 7. We have our creatures already set. We had 2 of those. So nothing huge here out of the artifact pile. I mean, obviously we had the Mythic that we could potentially play, but I just don't think our strength is going to be there with islands. So let me put this together, see what I can, finally decide, and I'll sleeve it up and do a test draw. I'm just finishing sleeving up here. I just wanted to mention these Deck Prot card sleeves that I'm using this time around are very nice to slide the cards into. Definitely more of an Ultra Pro matte finish, but these are entirely clear, and they are a little bit more sticky, I'd say, than the Ultra Pros. They on the back anyway, and after you shuffle up a few times, it should go away. But one thing about these that you may be concerned about is that you can see through these fairly well in the back, which, depending on who you're playing with, might be a deal. It might be an ordeal or not. I don't think I'd have a problem playing with these, but you don't know. So as of the mana that I curved worked out was all the total cost for blue was 13, black was 12, green was 11, so fairly well divided there. And after working it out as a ratio with the 13 being the target size for the number of basic lands, that equals 5 blue, 4 black, and 4 green, essentially. I kind of thought for a second, man, I could probably use 1 more land at each, but then you're up to 43 cards, and that becomes, you're taking away from the best cards in your deck. So, I'm just going to test draw it the way I built it for now, and then maybe go back in and tweak it a little bit. But I'm not playing against anyone, so it's more of an academic thing at this point. So, pile shuffled here. Just going to do a quick overhand and sleeve shuffle. And see what we wind up getting. A little tricky there with the sleeve shuffle. Yeah, not too bad. Probably was doing it wrong. Alright, so let's go out and 3, 6, 7. Assuming the first turn here. Let's see what we have. So right off the bat we have Forest, Island, and a swamp, so we got lucky there. Luckily I counted out the appropriate amounts ahead of time. And the Necromoeba, of course, in Grip, Extirpate, and Glen Elendra Archmage. So we've got plays here right off the bat. I mean, we go right in turn 2 with Necromoeba. You play your island first probably, because the first one you want to get out, then your swamp, and then your forest last, because your forest is a higher cost here. You won't be able to play them until turn 3 anyway. So let's take a look at that first draw card too. We get an Aether Snipe, so we can use the Evoke on this. Hopefully after we get a second blue, and just let's see how long it takes to get 2 of each land here, because that's really going to depend on whether this deck's going to be a winner. Not yet. So there's your forest in turn 3, I guess. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're kind of done now. So I'm thinking that I go back through and find 3 cards I want to take out of here, and then mix in 1 or 2 more lands, something like that, or maybe take out some of the high cost. Because I realized when I was putting the sleeves on that I've got a lot of the 6 cost, even if we wind up using the Evoke. Which isn't as important as the fact that a lot of these double colors kind of suck with a 3 color deck. So this one's probably not going to be winning any tournaments, but I figured, hey, why not give it a shot, put it together. So I appreciate you guys watching. This was a Modern Masters sealed deck, kind of deck tech, I guess, and pack opening, which was kind of cool to do. So I appreciate everyone's viewing. Please like if you do. Even if you don't, hit like anyway. Throw a comment down below. Let me know what I could have done better here. And subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more openings coming up. Thanks a lot.